Alright there geezers, Jules here from FGS, home of the Future Game Show, and I'll tell you this for nothing my friend, one of the most undervalued things in gaming at present, in my opinion at least, are those souls who work tirelessly on a title's audio. And I don't just mean like composers of music, but I mean people who seek to craft the perfect chirps, dings and clicks, and who have to masterfully convey information to the player using nothing but sound alone. Because let's face it, if they do their job well, you probably don't even notice it and just absorb their efforts into the wider experience. And so today I want to celebrate games that rely totally on clever implementation of sound and those that ask you to close your eyes and 100% rely on your ability to listen in order to win the day. Because this isn't just a fascinating new angle for the medium, but also allows those with visual impairments to join in the fun to the fullest extent, and that's what we like to see. And to keep things spicy, I've also included some extreme blindfold challenges and one example of a game that is so easy you can close your eyes and it beats itself. So with this in mind, let's have a chat. As I'm Jules, this is FGS, and these are 8 games you can beat with your eyes closed. And as I say this, I've just realised that I've kind of screwed over my editor mark a little bit with this video, because we're going to be talking about video games that rely totally on audio cues over visual ones. And so yeah, the footage that he's going to have to source in order to put into this video to make it entertaining for you, the viewer, is going to be interesting to say the least. Still, I believe in you, Mark. Let's see what you can do. Make it so. Number 8, Blind Drive. Now I ask you this, my friends, is there anything more annoying than a backseat driver when it comes to taking a ride in your auto-combobulator? I tell you, with somebody gassing in your ear and critiquing your gear shift for not being able to pull out in the optimal fashion from the Tesco car park, it can turn a ride of getting from A to B to a see you in hell situation. So imagine if you took all of this and then put a blindfold on, because Blind Drive asks you to navigate through busy traffic, avoid oncoming wildlife, and even run from the cops, all without the ability to see, and are only guided by a hypercritical, often very distracted GPS system. You will need a good pair of headphones here, as the mixing in this game is phenomenal, often layering audio cues and splashing in static and audio obstacles for you to overcome, to the extent that you'll feel your heart pounding more than playing your average visual-based racer.
Kidding me!
What's that? I can't hear you.
The comedy here is also on point, as the escalation of events and hazards you need to avoid is something like out of Wacky Races, and the narration, well, it offers up some brilliant moments.
Yeehaw! I'm out! I'm out!
So put your pedal to the metal and get ready to steer with your ears, because Blind Drive is a high-octane black comedy riot that you need to check out. Number 7, Barney's Hide and Seek. Now, if there's a few things that we know for certain about Barney the dinosaur, it's that he's purple, he loves us. Alright mate, calm down, it's a bit keen. And also, his content is made for babies, or at a push, adults who are slowly being driven mad by the fact that their newborn will not stop crying, like ever. Therefore, it must have been quite the challenge for the devs behind video game Barney's Hide and Seek, because most of their audience would confuse the controller for a teething toy and likely haven't got enough motor skills that complex game design often requires. So their solution to the problem was, well, what if the game just kind of played itself? Turns out that if you put the controller down and leave Barney idle for too long, he'll get a little bored of your time wasting and proceed to complete the level himself without any input at all. Therefore, if you fancy the delicious combination of completing a game and having a nap, then this is quite literally the title for you, because you can just put it on, close your eyes, and then just wake up to a completed game and likely have no idea what happened story-wise. Though, to be fair, it's hardly going to be like Disco Elysium levels of plot here, is it? But saying that, I do want to see that. That'd be brilliant. I love you.
But do you love me? Are you capable of loving a being that does not love themselves? What is love?
Barney Elysium. Yeah. Number 6, a blind legend. A blind legend, not just what I call myself when I've accidentally spilled toxic Warhammer dust pigments into my eye for like the 10th time in a row, and no, I will not learn from this apparently. It's also the name of a video game that is somehow both an audio-only medieval experience, but also a hack and slash adventure. Armed with naught but a sword, a shield, and a desire to rescue your wife from the clutches of evil, you play as a blind knight called Edward Blake, who is thrust into severe peril at every turn. Now this is a title that was designed from the ground up with visually impaired gamers in mind, and so relies 100% on audio cues to avoid enemy strikes, carve apart your foes, and even sneak past enemy outposts. However, it's not just grunts and the clash of steel that you'll hear, as all of Edward's actions are guided by his daughter Louise, who builds a rich image of the situation and your predicaments. The voice work here between the pair is excellent.
And there is a deep ravine beneath us. I'm scared. Is there really no other way, Father?
Although you may begin to feel the immersion buckle upon her repeating "over here" or "straight ahead" from the 100th time in a row, the same way those goddamn pawns from Dragon's Dogma kept on shouting "Harpy! Harpy! Yes, I know I can see it, its claws are in my eyeballs!" But still, yes. But when the action kicks off and you can hear the rain plinking off your armour, it really does capture and conjure some powerful images in your mind.
Sir Blake, my father has finished your sword. It's at the forge.
Plus, with horse riding and trap sequences for you to overcome, no situation ever overstays its welcome, and it all funnels you towards a final conflict that resolves in heart-pounding fashion. Definitely one to check out. Number 5. The Vale, Shadow of the Crown. So if a blind legend tickles your fancy spot right there, then the Vale Shadow of the Crown is going to be like Kama Sutra for your ears, as this takes the audio-only medieval hack-and-slash formula and elevates the experience across the board. You see, the Vale Shadow of the Crown casts you as a princess called Alex who must traverse a dangerous land in order to be reunited with their brother King Theo. Along the way, you'll encounter companions such as the Shepherd, who kind of acts as your guide within the game, as well as other fighters, adventurers, and even a bloody dog, which automatically makes this best game material. Everything in this game is voice acted, from which moral choices that you're going to be asked to make to the lively towns and inns that you'll frequent along the way, and it definitely rewards players with a keen ear because there are side quests and hidden content that you can discover which reward you with some amazing gear, loot, and even spells. Binaural 3D audio conveys bustling marketplaces where anvils are struck with hammers and children will be laughing off in the distance, and you can feel the chill of caverns. They drip with slow water effects. It's just fantastic immersion. Plus, the combat is really fine-tuned, with enemies grunting, gasping, and breathing heavily after their attacks to inform you of their location and of their next move. And the controller rumbles to indicate when it's time for you to strike, parry, or dive out of the way. This is just one of those experiences that is so rich with polish and charm that it feels like a AAA blockbuster, but without the tens of millions of dollars spent on visuals. So yeah, brilliant stuff. Number 4, Elden Ring. Okay, so I know what you're thinking here. What? Jules, old buddy, old pal, Elden Ring? What are you chatting about? Elden Ring? I've not even completed the vanilla experience thanks to all the salty tears in my eyes blinding me, so how the hell has anyone completed this game without the power of sight? Well, absolute legend of the game, Penick is here to show you how, and to boil down and to likely realize all of their hard work that they put in. It all comes down to insane amounts of pattern memorization, an intense reliance on audio cues, deep knowledge of movement mechanics and how they interact with different environments, a dollop of hacks and shortcuts, and of course, a delivery truck full of skill, timing, and luck. Because yes, Penick beat this game blindfolded. In short, it's not for the faint-hearted, and it's genuinely insane to see players like Penick take games like this and utterly embarrass them by completing them without laying one eye on the events taking place. And this extends far beyond the likes of Elden Ring, as games like Super Mario 64, Punch-Out, and Zelda have all been beaten by blindfolded and visually impaired players, and honestly, / ironically, it might be the greatest thing that I've ever seen. Check it out. Number 3, Real Sound, Kaze No Regret. Right, that's enough audio action as my ears are bleeding from being stabbed in them many times over, so time to turn to the wild world of romance games and talk about how Real Sound, Kaze No Regret was a title release for the Sega Saturn and Dreamcast which acted as a visual novel, but without any of the visuals. Here you play as a young lad whose partner is about to move away, and so they plan to elope. Yet, for some reason, your girlfriend never arrives at the meeting point, and so you drift apart until years later, where you reunite once more. It's a tale of love, heartbreak, and hope, and all of this is delivered through an audio drama in which the player can influence at certain points when the sound of soft chimes begin to play. Now, there aren't any real choices in the traditional sense. It's more actually the time in which it takes you to respond, meaning that you can come across as impatient, passionate, lamentful, or even bored, depending on your reaction speed. But what's truly heartwarming about all of this is that developer Kenji Eno made this game to bring happiness to those without sight, and even negotiated with Sega to donate 1,000 copies of the game to visually impaired players so that they might all enjoy his love story. However, word of advice, if you are looking to play this for yourself, make sure that you brushed up on your Japanese, because unfortunately there is no English localization available, and it is, as you imagine, quite dense when it comes to the vocabulary. Number 2, Wraith the Oblivion, the Orpheus device. Okay, so I may be very late to the party here. I don't actually know how this passed me by, but apparently you can play games on your Alexa beyond a game of like Kiss Chicken that I imagine that most Alexa and smart speaker owners do because they love those weird obelisks so much. Because it turns out that there's even fully fledged audio drama level experiences that you can try out, one of which being Wraith the Oblivion, the Orpheus device. A spooky choose your own adventure title that sees you enter a haunted house and try to put the undead residents to rest by helping them with their unfinished business. And the results are surprisingly tense, and the experience just like grips you from start to finish as you try to find solutions to these ethereal puzzles. And because this is a title designed to be played using voice command, is one that you can just put your feet up, close your eyes, and just utterly lose yourself in. In addition, the sound design is truly impressive, meaning that the images of creaking hallways, dusty rooms, and of course the undead spirits that inhabit the mansion really come to life in your mind, arguably making for a much scarier experience than anything that you could see on a screen. Well, unless the ghost decided to put up images of your grandparents doing it. Why would they do that? Why would I even suggest that that's a thing that they just move on from that? Let's just, why?
Divorce. I guess Mommy wanted to surprise Daddy. I wonder if dead people can get divorced.
Long story short, this title is a surprisingly deep one from a device that I didn't actually even know up until now could do anything more than record your conversations and place Amazon orders on your behalf to further indebt you to Big Bezos. Neat, I think. And number 1, Periphery Synthetic. And so we close on something that is so entirely unique that I honestly can't wait to talk about it more. So let's dive into an ambient exploration game that is so chill that it makes the likes of Valheim and Animal Crossing look like Darktide by comparison. This is Periphery Synthetic, a game in which you explore vast areas with little more than an echolocator and a series of electronic trills and chimes dancing pleasantly in your ears. Now, it's at this point that Mark is likely crying with relief because yes, this game does feature some visuals and you can even kind of make out certain topography thanks to its low poly renditions, but this game can and should be explored entirely without sight, as there's a supreme journey-like harmony of moving through a beautiful world. It's just here that the beauty is the supreme audio soundscape that builds and shifts as you move. As you explore, you'll unlock new abilities to push further, making this weirdly the most chill take on a pseudo-Metroidvania build. You can kind of think of it like Simon Belmont taking a break at one of those gigs played inside a planetarium. This is pure stripped-back pleasure and something that feels entirely its own, and it makes Periphery Synthetic so easy to recommend, as it's a game that you can just close your eyes and just vibe with. Perfect stuff. And there we go, my friends. Those were 8 video games you can beat with your eyes closed. I hope that you enjoyed that, and let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. And if you want to chat to me in the meantime on the social medias, you can go over to Blue Sky and Instagram, where it's at RetroJ, but the O is a 0. And you can follow my lovely editor Mark here over on his social medias as well. And so just put extra thanks to him, because I'm pretty sure that he's had to go above and beyond to actually get the visuals kind of engaging enough to keep you watching throughout to the end of this video. Hopefully it worked. Big bless to you, my friend, and apologies. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. Even though we spoke today about video games in which you need to close your eyes and just listen to beat, maybe we should listen to some other things as well. Like me telling you right here, right now, that you are a good person and you deserve the best, all right? You're a massive ledge. You deserve love, happiness, and success, and do not let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise. So I want you to, today, tomorrow, for the end of time, just listen to that voice in your head and tell it that you deserve the best. Let's fight negativity with positivity. So stop being hard on yourself. You're a good person. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.